A lot to be thankful for. I guess my life has been too exciting and I'd rather have had a simple one. But it wasn't, and it makes you a different person, doesn't it? And a better person, I think, for all that you go through. I was born in Darwin. I had to come in on the mission boat inside my mother because she was at Milliganby Island with the Methodist Church as a missionary nurse, did all the medical work on that island. There were no doctors then, no flying doctors, no medical anything. She was the medical. She said this night they came running and said, "Quick, sister, quick, man's got a spear in his chest." She got her medical bag and ran with them, and he'd been speared with one of those zigzag spears. And they lay him in the camp, and she said all she could do, she couldn't pull it out, but she gave him morphine. She didn't have antibiotics, they weren't heard of then, but she could give him painkiller. And she prayed with him and held his hand until he died. So we've seen a lot of changes. I was only a little girl, but I can remember we were just south of Darwin at Pine Creek, and Darwin was bombed. And the policeman came around with his lantern and said all the women and children have got to leave the north and go south, get the next train tomorrow. And so my dear mother, she grabbed together whatever she could for each of us 3 children. And we were on that train, and my father, the men all had to stay up there, and he was working with the government in the Native Affairs branch looking after the Aborigines. And on the back of the train they were carrying an ack gun for security, and it went off. So we all got down on the floor expecting the bombs to start falling, but what had happened, an old-timer had gone to sleep on top of the train and it rolled off down the line, and the only way the guard could let the driver know to stop was to fire the ack gun. I thought that was beautiful. Well, this one means a lot to me. I think I was about 7. Here I am here. My father, my mother, my sister Grace and my brother Gordon. And my father would go out with the police on camels if they had to interview people on one of the big cattle stations. Imagine riding all that way on a camel. Wouldn't be very comfortable, would it? I did district nursing. I had a car and I used to go from house to house to give injections or do dressings, or that was my job then for some time, until I met my husband, who was a farmer from Victoria. He was studying for the Methodist ministry at Park and Wesley College. He didn't want a city appointment, he'd been a farmer. So we did rural appointments all around South Australia. And I found that really wonderful. I found the people wonderful, and we had the 4 children during those years. You'd have a little Methodist church in a paddock, not in a town, and the farmers had come from all over. He would also visit them on their farms as part of his ministry, and he'd even milk the cows for some of the ladies because he loved the farming. And I used to hear reading for the kids. They had a lot of kids who couldn't read, who were in primary school, and I would take them out on the little veranda and sit down with them. I really loved doing that because I felt it was helping kids who were growing up but couldn't read. I'm 91 now, and I've got a lot of years to look back over and a lot to be thankful for.